Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Designers for Lunch. Today we have lunch with Francesco Pace, founder of Tellurico. He's an Italian designer living in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven. So it's a good match for us because actually we work in both the countries, as you all know. So I'm really happy to meet him today and to talk about his studio, his projects, and his life in the Netherlands. So Francesco, I think he's here.
Hi.
Ciao Francesco. Welcome to Designers for Lunch.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. So I really wanted to have your project actually in our exhibitions this year because we have been following you for a while. So we are really happy to have you with us. And to know more about you, to let our users know more about you. So you graduated in 2017
Yes.
At the Design Academy of Eindhoven. And then you stayed there, you worked there. How is to live there, to work there for an Italian designer, to live in the Netherlands and to work there?
I have to say that the beginning was a little bit, in a way, it was kind of natural, and it was also like complicated. When I started like the design academy and I was studying there, like the approach of the design academy was completely different from the approach of the Polytechnic of Milan, because I studied there before. And that one, at the beginning, I got some struggle into really on the approach of learning, because in design academy there is all this approach of thinking through making. Meanwhile, in the Polytechnico, there is really an approach of before.
A lot of theory.
Yeah,
Right?
a lot of theory, but also a lot of like you design something, you plan which is your step that you have to follow, and you follow the step. And then if you have a problem, you come back and you try to understand which is the problem. Instead, in design academies, it was very much like, okay, let's try, let's make it. And that was kind of, at the beginning, I was like, how can I try if I don't plan it? And that was a little bit the struggle at the beginning. But then when you enter a little bit in the mood, and I try to combine the two perspective, like the one from the Milan design approach and Eindhoven design approach, then things start to flow. And the reality is that like now it's 4 years after the graduation, and I'm still here, and things start really to flow. I find comfortable with in my studio, with my studio mate, and Eindhoven has that approach of big spaces, a big community of people that share your interest, and there is not a lot of life like in Milan, but it has its pros.
So actually, like to have both the how do you say, the educations, the Italian one and the Dutch one, helped you in your work in the end.
Definitely, of course. This was really like I think the plus of my approach, of my studio. It's something that I mean, I'm still like cultivating and growing both approach, but
Of
it's
course.
something that really helped me out. Like try to have both a theoretical approach and like a very thoughtful approach, to another which is more let's just
try.
go in the workshop and try it out
Yeah.
and make it and see how it works.
That's the one I like, actually.
Yeah, I agree, but like when you then like if you are too much like polarized with one thing, then you risk in both cases to make not a mistake, but like if you do too much, then you will do too much, and 80% of the things you have done maybe are like a chair or like a vase, you know. And if you go too much in the theory, then you got lost and you enter in a sphere which is like philosophical, or it's like very theoretical. So I always think that this kind of 50-50 approach,
Balance.
like, yeah, try to balance out like I go in the studio and I make when I know also what I'm making
That
and
you have
why
to
I'm.
make. That's
So
really
that's
interesting to hear.
what I think it make the difference in a way, or in this is like the balance.
So that's what you brought you then to found Tellurico, your studio, your design
Mhm.
studio. That actually, like, I was curious about it as well, because Tellurico in Italian means that comes from art. Like,
Yeah.
why this name? Why this name? Even if I can imagine it. Like, and how did it start? How did it go? How were the first years of having your own design studio?
That was like the most challenging things. I mean, like the name of Tellurico, it came kind of natural because when I graduated, already during my graduation, I was working on the project of Telluride. Because even if I present the first result of Telluride in 2018, I was already working and trying things out with this project. And in a way it was also like a project that I felt very connected. And also the I'm coming from the south of Italy, from Pozzuoli, and this place it's a place that has the highest density of population on top of an active volcano. So I've been living on top of a volcano for all my life. Like I experience also earthquake. There are like a continuous situation and events that happen there because of the volcano. Also
You,
historically, geographically.
you don't know it, Francesco, but I'm living. I mean, my hometown is at the feet of a volcano of Etna in Sicily.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
experienced exactly the same thing. Maybe less than you because you're on top. But about earthquakes or volcanic sand, like I know what you're talking about.
So it's really like part of my daily routine. Sometimes when I was expressing or explaining these things to some of my friends here, or like colleagues, they were saying like the first question was always like, "Why are you living there? Why don't you just move away?" So and that's a little bit the fun fact, no, that like I've been living all the time with this entity on top of myself, that at the end when I move out I just brought it with me. And that's it's a little bit the reason why like the name of Tellurico, which means like coming from the heart, and it refers to the earthquake of and the explosion of the volcano.
What was your answer when they were asking, why did you live there? I'm curious about it.
I invite them to come and understand why.
And why? That's a good answer. I like it.
No, because I mean that's what a volcano does. It's like even a little bit in more like a scientific way, like it's very dangerous and it's very like problematic for certain things, but it's also like very productive for cultivation. It protects
Yeah.
like from bad weather. It's like it creates like kind of wall around the base, so it creates also like an environment which is very positive for life to grow, not only human life but also natural life, like
Yes.
biodiversity, for instance. So this is
Absolutely.
also why people don't move in a way.
So
And
from there, how everything started and continue with your studio.
yeah, from there it's everything started. And these 3 years at the beginning, I mean, it's always starting your own company, young designer, 3-4 years of company, it's complicated
Yeah.
because there are like many also aspects that you never really evaluate before starting a company, which is already like normal bureaucracy, paying taxes, have income for paying your bills.
I
And
know what you're talking about.
and that's it's kind of it's the biggest struggle, because if it goes everything through the project, I know that I'm able to achieve certain result,
Yeah.
also very high of what a project will be. but at the same time, then you have to find a market, you have to find people who trust in yourself, you have to build your own, in a way, portfolio and career, and show that you are also able to achieve what you just say you will achieve. And that
Yeah.
was like struggling at the beginning, but things are working out. And yeah, it's also interesting how, like, based on your project and your attitude, you create your own client. Because
Yeah, it's
sometimes,
true.
in a way, like, you expect, I don't know, the certain things to happen from one side, that can be collector or can be, a show and things like that. But in reality, you understand that then income can enter from different things that you can do for client. And that's also
Absolutely.
very interesting on how you approach to a project and to a person, possible client.
I think it's really important to be determined, like to follow your values, your ideas, and don't change your mind just because maybe at the beginning you don't get economical results. Because what you were saying before is true. Actually, if you study as a designer, you don't have any knowledge about taxes, about business plans, about all that stuff. So it's something that you have to experience yourself, like. In your daily job, like but to see successful stories, it's like yours, it's really important. Because I think right now we need designers that from one side have to be really innovative and create and work with new materials. From the other side, for themselves, we need designers who know to whom they're talking about, and they can also sell their products. Because there is also obviously an artistic part of the business, but there is also a business part that is important to grow and take care of, and it's made by communication, by good photos in your case, like especially like by marketing, by investing. Like, so it's good to see that there are many designers in our community that are already grown, like in this from this point of view. So I'm happy to hear what you say.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very important to also create your own identity and try to really, at least from my side, I really am sometimes uh, even like super precise on like which is an edge of a picture and why I have to publish that picture for this reason, for this other reason, because everything related to Tellurico, it's part of the identity of Tellurico,
Of
and
course.
it makes sense that it has to be respectful in the ethical that Tellurico is trying to have. That's yeah, that's definitely something as well.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about your projects. We will talk about Telluride, but tell us like what is the fil rouge also between all your projects. What are your projects? I don't know if you can show us something.
Yeah, if you want, I have like a small PDF which I prepare.
Sure.
Is Can you see it?
Not yet.
Just
Did
tell me when
you
I can start.
share your screen?
Yeah, let me see. Maybe. Oh, wait. Because luckily we didn't done before. Wait. Can you see it now?
Yes. Now it's
Great.
coming. Yes, perfect.
So yeah, I mean, I already said that is like Tellurico is a multidisciplinary studio based in the Netherlands, and I am basically specialized in object and installation design. And yeah, what I really always try to investigate, which is very interesting to me, it's how like production process and environment are related, and why certain craft kind of are specific from one place instead of the other. So I always kind of work with the context I'm inside, The context can be really much like a social context, a political context. Like in the case of Telluride, is more like a geological and geographical context, and how these contexts, influence tradition, history, production method, and etc. So I don't know. For instance, last year I presented this project, which was part of this exhibition, which is Geo.design. That now it's also a master in Design Academy of Eindhoven, where it was
Yes,
where they asked us to basically investigate something related to junk and try to understand which were like the motivation behind this new material, which is the junk. And I developed this project, which is Unchecked Chain, and it's basically related to the garbage emergency in the early 2000 in Campania, and now change certain part of the region. So the actual idea, basically, it was like, I mean, I was collecting a lot of data, a lot of video, a lot of interview, a lot of article about everything was happening. And since all the material I was collecting was very much related to video, I decided to design this video installation, which was uh, 6 video, 1 projection, and 5 screen, where I was showing all the side of the project itself. So yeah, basically, I'm not gonna go precisely in each video because it's a very long project. But basically, any side of any screen was showing side of the issue and was what happening on a political level, on a geographical level, on a geological level, and was giving information about the whole project.
that's great.
And this is like I always show this. I mean, this is like a small 3D view during the presentation. So basically, you have this kind of round screen all around in the room. And the reason why I show this project is because since the commission was coming from Design Academy and Van Abbe Museum of Eindhoven, since the topic was related to something which is physical but also like a very big scale, so the only way of showing was a video, I came out with the idea of the video installation. And the approach I have is always to analyze and study the context on which a project is commissioned, is it will be show which is the context of the topic I'm working on it, and based on that I design which is the output. So this output is completely different from the output of Telluride, but still the approach is basically the same.
So the process is the same, but in the end, you have a completely different project result.
That's definitely
I see.
the whole point. Like having completely a different, always the same approach, but don't really take any decision beforehand, but just like create that set of rule that then will take you. Okay, this decision is right. That's wrong. So we go for the right one. Another project which I also presented during the Dutch Design Week, it was so before being in this studio, I was in another studio in Tongerle, which is a district of Eindhoven. And in this place, in this district, there is like a very iconic building, which is the Carregat. And the iconography, the icon of this building was this pillar, this tower you see in this picture. This was my studio for almost 2 years. Actually, for all the time I was in the master, this was my studio. After a while, we had to move out, but we had the time to organize an exhibition in this studio. And together with another design duo, which is Studio La Cube, and the project they had with another, basically we were 3 of us working on this project. We collect a lot of material related to this building and the history and the architect, and there was a documentary about it. And basically, we share this material with 10 designer, and we ask them to design something related to the pillar. This is what was the this is some part of the material we share with the designer. There were also some paper related to journal, and we came out with this exhibition.
That's pretty cool.
Those are like basically 9 interpretation of the tower for this designer. We call like yeah, now I don't have all the name. Audrey, Andres, they were all designer involved in the exhibition, and we came out with this format of everybody can give their own identity, their own interpretation of the tower.
The same thing.
And the idea was also to have like 9 project, and the 10 project was the actual pillar inside the exhibition. So
Yes.
it's also part of the show. And this is some of the production process I apply for. Then design. This was my interpretation of the pillar. So basically, the pillar, it was very much like something that it was used for unite space and not for divide it. That was the kind of innovation of this pillar, and also the fact that because it was like one big space, and it didn't had no front, not back, not left, not side. So basically, this is how I design my object. An object that has like different function. So it can be a seat, can be a shelf, can be a coat hanger, and it has like no back and no front. It can be approached from any side. And this is like in an exhibition in Casabel, which is a gallery in Barcelona.
That's great. Bravo.
So those are like very different approach, like similar approach, but for very different projects. So which goes from installation design for a museum, object, exhibition design, and so on.
Really interesting. Great to see it. I see Tellurico here, so I go further with my next question. Like that is about that. So now we talk about Pozzuoli. We talked about the volcano. But what is the relation between the volcano and the project itself? Because it's the material research behind that starts from there.
Yeah. Also here I was kind of analyzing the context in which I was working it, and this area called the FLEGREI field, CAMPI FLEGREI, is the area I was saying before. It's the highest populated area on top of a 24 active volcano. In the map I'm showing you, there are some of the volcano. Like you can see, the yellow dot is like where my family live, and how the volcano are around the area.
Amazing.
So this has like a lot of different influence on what. Like one of the most common is the bradysism. It's basically a movement of the crust of the earth up and down.
So the shape changed, right?
Yeah. It's like imagine that underneath all this volcano there is a chamber, right? And under this chamber there is lava. The lava is always composed between lava and gas. So sometimes the gas fulfill the chamber and the chamber goes up. Some other time gas goes out and then the chamber deflated. So basically it's like breathing area all around, and that it was created bradysism. And for instance, this picture I made it like 2 kilometers from where my family live. That it came out this like let's say explosion of gas and water, hot water, and there are places like this one, which is an aerial view of the Solfatara, which is one of the volcano which is there. and it also show like the border, right? As soon that you have like the gas, you have all this kind of desertification, but when the gas stop, you have a super vivid biodiversity. So there is always this contrast between what they give and what you take from the volcano. And also like historic wise, like basically there was this city that was destroyed by an explosion, which is basically straight in front of underwater sea, straight in front of the bay. And also this one kind of show you, that it's very ephemeral your life there, because everything can change in a very little time.
Few
So
seconds.
I really basically started like in a very, let's say like easy way, like super simple approach. So I really start to take like a few sample, collect them, and see how I can work with them. And I found out that the most interesting way, like the most easy way for working to it, it's like basically melt them in a oven, like in a ceramic oven. And this was like, meanwhile, those are the sampling of the project. This one is like the first time I achieved to basically combine lava and porcelain. What I
So the first
observed,
time.
yeah, basically what you see is before and after when you put the object into the kiln and when you take it out. And what I observed before arriving to this conclusion is basically that the lava has like a very big concentration of silice, and is the same material. It's the same element which is present in the kaolin of the porcelain. So the two materials together, basically they combine, and they create like a stronger porcelain. Instead of fighting each other, they really combine in a chemical way, so they bond together. And the one you see on the right is basically the final result of the object, of the material itself. So all this crack,
It's not just something beautiful, like and different than what you can see, but as you said, it's also functional. So the ceramic is stronger and it can last longer. Like so, it's really interesting, this project.
yeah, also because it happened that like when you thickling the porcelain, you really hear a very strong vitrification. It's almost sound like metal when you tickling the porcelain, and that's also very interesting. And this is the final object that I create. So it's and sometime when I talk with client or with galleries, and they say to me like, that's cracked, I don't know if the client want, and this and that. Then sometime like at the beginning was a little bit complicated, but then when they get the whole point, they really understand that the porcelain is stronger, and it's not like, because it's a big object, and it's not delicate in a way. It's quite like it can of course, if you just mash it on the floor, you're gonna broke, but like it's a strong object. It's not delicate in a way that you touch it and it break.
We can finish our interview with my last question, that it's about this year's Dutch Design Week. So we saw your previous exhibition, and I wanted to know how are you living this digital instead of physical version of the Dutch Design Week, and what do you think about the way we represent it online?
No, I think the work you have done with all the digital side point of view, it's fantastic. It's a very big work. Also, I was looking last week all the digital city you design and the different office or studio for all the designer, and it's impressive. Of course, it's for design. For designer and for design, having like a digital and I think also you as organization having a digital platform, it's positive, but there is nothing like the physical show.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Because like from one side, yeah, like I can express, and I was lucky because I was invited from you to show my project and talking about my project, and we had this time, and that's fantastic. But like many person and many client and many also only people interested, they really need to come see, touch it, and
Yes.
understanding the research, talking like one-on-one with person. This is very complicated to be substitute from the digital one. And my thought, it goes also to all the graduated this year, that
Yeah.
they wait for
They really bad luck.
yeah, graduation show. It's a big things of Dutch Design Week, and it's
I
a big things. I've been like a design academy student, and you really work toward that finish. You really work toward
know.
that event, because it's like a lot of people passing through, a lot of international curator coming for seeing your things, and for them having a digital things. There are also a lot of them. There are
Very
200,
limited.
300 graduated,
Very
so that's
limited.
a pity for them.
Like with us, like we were preparing the physical exhibitions. Everything was ready actually. So
Yeah,
because it was really, like just a couple of weeks ago, the event cancellation, the physical part. So it's exactly the same. Also for us, we were excited that finally this year we were going to have a physical event after the cancellation of the Milan Design Week.
yeah.
But I mean, this is the situation. This is what we can have right now, and we're just trying to give our best, to do our best for what are the tools we have available,
Yeah,
and to
definitely.
give the best experience possible, at least online, to visitors with virtual tours, with the graphic interface, with the images, videos. But of course, we can't wait to have again a physical event as soon as possible. Then it will be also like together with the digital event. So I think they can be perfectly integrated, but the physical part is really necessary. Like so
Yeah,
I hope we can
the
soon.
the positivity now is that like you as Isola Design District, you have all the system in place for having a super huge support, which is digital, which usually it's always missing when you have like a physical show. Sometimes you focus a lot on the physical show, that then like you don't have anything digital. Sometimes you even don't have the picture of the object when you do a show. Now you have everything in place and can really work towards like when it will happen again, that we will have like physical show working already with this digital platform that you create, which is fantastic in my opinion.
That's actually our idea because, once Milan Design Week was cancelled, we had the time to work on something different. So let's say it was a really bad period, but we had somehow also the luck to focus on something new or something bigger, and to make the project to change its shape a little bit, to be more international, to be working all year, because we started as an event that was happening only in April, only during Milan Design Week. Now we are a platform that works all year long. Our goal is to make even more events during the year that can be physical, supported by the digital part. So with a community now with over 300 designers online, we can still grow a lot, and so that's our direction. But again, like the
Exactly.
physical part of the events and the platform, like, is really important for us. So I hope that next year we can have that as well, and I hope to have you also physically in our next year's event.
I hope.
Thank you very much, Francesco, for
Thank
being with
you
us.
so much. Sorry for the internet. It's not my fault.
No problem, and good luck with the rest of the event and with your next steps, next projects. I hope to see you
Thank
soon in the Netherlands or in Milan.
I hope
Um,
to see you soon also.
have a great day, and
Thank you.
goodbye, everyone.